Well, we are live again, and this time we have a special guest here. First time Positively Relentless has brought on a guest.
About time.
Yeah, I
Dang.
know we've had a couple people kind of chirping a little bit, but had to kind of set the base show for a little bit first. So this is episode 24, so it makes sense. We've kind of
Because I'm the Kobe
established.
Bryant of podcast guest, I guess.
I
Today you
guess.
can be.
Yeah,
Hey, I'll
yeah.
take it.
You want to drop 81 and just hit all kinds of fire? We'll sit aside and let you do it, man.
Kobe.
But yeah, so obviously this is Enyi Nduka,
What's up,
very
guys?
frequent, regular with Dallas Prospect, kind of one of our, I don't know what you wouldn't say correspondent. I don't know what label we would give to that, but
I don't know. I don't
a
contributor, I
regular,
guess.
let's just say a regular with
Yeah,
the
that's a
Dallas
good one.
Prospect,
That's a good one.
Mavs Fast Break, any number of shows that we've packaged over the years for the channel. And we're going to be talking Mavericks basketball here. Obviously, they had a game just a few hours earlier.
Did they?
Very, very early game.
Did they know they had a game?
I don't know. But that was when James and I were talking about this earlier today. As soon as we saw the start time, we're like, this isn't going to be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, James.
It wasn't
James-
gonna be. It wasn't gonna be good because they were playing that athletic Magic team. I told you they was going. This was a game. They got lucky that Apollo didn't play because if Apollo was in there, he'd have gave him 30-15.
Shoot.
Yeah. It was the quintessential trap game, which we already saw them fall into against New Orleans. And they did it again. And it was almost a double trap game because weren't they missing someone else in their lineup as well? Like it was the same thing as New Orleans, like missing multiple key pieces. Or no, it wasn't that they were missing two pieces. It's I think their next game you have Bradley Beal out as well. That's what they were saying with like double trap game. That's right. Yeah, this was a real stinker of a game for the Mavericks. Basically, anyone not named Spencer Dinwiddie just completely laid an egg, and it was brutal, and I hated it. So
It wasn't a bad game for Christian Wood because he didn't play.
yeah, and insofar as his stats didn't take a hit, I guess. But
Yeah.
He's missing.
Yeah.
He's missing against Washington too.
they've already I guess
Yeah,
it's
they're-
back
yep,
in Dallas. So that makes sense. It's a frustrating case of that. We'll get into the Christian Wood thing a little bit more.
I want to hear y'all's takes.
Yeah, we'll get into that. Let's do you guys have anything else to touch on for the game just now against Orlando other than the fact that it was ass?
I mean, me, like I said, man, I knew like when we played them last time.
Yep.
You know, we beat them last time, but like I said, that DDP, I said all year, Dallas is going to struggle with athletic teams. Like when they play Toronto, the Pelicans, athletic fours, guys that are 6'6", 6'7", 6'8", that can dribble the ball and can take it to the hole. Dallas is going to struggle against those guys, especially, and if they got any kind of bigs in there that can match that. Oh, if they miss the shot, then they crash the boards, get the offensive rebound, or get a second shot. Points in the paint, they're too big. And I knew when I saw France that Wagner that last game, I said he's got that quick, like that long Euro step. I knew he was gonna do that all game against Dallas, and that's what he did. He took advantage of them one-on-one matchups, man. And Wendell Carter, double digits in rebounds. I mean, you just kind of knew this was gonna happen, especially with Christian Wood being out. I was like, this is a recipe for disaster, especially when you know JaVale McGee ain't giving you jack poo. You feel me? In the lineup at all. I don't even know why he's in there. You know, Dwight Powell. I love how he plays hard, but he ain't gonna get you more than 3 rebounds in a damn game. So, when Luka is always your leading rebounder as a point guard, it's always gonna be a problem in my opinion.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with how the Mavs roster is built. There's no reason to struggle. It's not that the roster composition is poor or anything like that. That's not to say that they don't need adjustments or that they can't make upgrades. But I don't think with the way it's constructed that there's a reason for this struggle. I just think that they have a really bad habit right now of kind of looking past teams. It's the trap scenario. It's a team that hasn't been very good in a while with a major guy out, their best player essentially out, and the Mavericks just kind of overlooked them. And I think this one being an early start time fell into that trap even harder because they looked flat through a lot of that. Like it wasn't, like I said, Dinwiddie was the only one really doing much of anything. Luka's streak of 30 points, 30-point games to open a season is snapped. So I think he ended up with the second longest streak in NBA history behind Wilt, who had like 24 or something. So that's sucks to get that. He gets 24 in this game. Sucks to see that streak in, but it's also like, yeah, ideally if things are working better and you're not having to rely on Luka so heavily, it's probably more ideal. But I don't know. What do you think, Enyi?
Well, I second everything you guys said. The Mavericks do have a tendency of playing down the competition, not taking competition seriously. I was of the same mind as you guys. As soon as they said, "Hey, 4:30 start time," Paolo Banchero is ruled out. It just reeked of a trap game, a game that I felt like our guys, even though we're pretty, I don't want to say an old team, but like we aren't super young. The only one that's, I mean, our best player is young. And probably our second best player in Josh Green is young. I'm just kidding. But you will think they'll be a little bit more mature to be able to handle a situation like that and be like, hey guys, we're not gonna lay an egg. We're not gonna come in thinking that this team is gonna roll over. If they had paid attention all year to this Magic team, they should know this Magic team ain't the same Magic team that we're used to. Right? They're they can be a very dangerous team. We're seeing the surgence of Bol. We're seeing Wendell Carter pretty much since the trade from Chicago continue on, because he was doing it ever since that trade happened. He's been continuing to be a very, very solid player in this league, right? So they should have went into this game knowing that, hey, they might not have Paolo Banchero, but they have other guys who are very, very talented, and we should take very, very seriously, including as not Mo Wagner, but his younger brother, Franz, who tends to be overlooked when talking about the Magic, but he's also a guy who is very, very skilled and can be a problem on the offensive end. So, kudos to them. They got the dub. Congratulations. Definitely. There's Travis Banks is a Chicago fan.
Bulls fan, yeah.
Yeah. Definitely a game I wish we can take back. But hey, we got Washington tomorrow. We got the revenge game.
Well, the thing even there with you said, like, if they weren't aware of like Orlando, if they were overlooking them, they've already played them. Like they've seen them. Serious, they should have been ready. Like I think they won that first game, but it's not like they blew them out. They've only had one comfortable win this year. So I don't know what it is. They kind of play with their food. It feels like if they're playing a good team, they'll hang around even in games where maybe they shouldn't really be hanging in some of those games. And they just don't put things away. So it is a little bit of a early season problem and trend, but it is early, and the West being a log jam like it is means you're not far back. Like you're always going to be, I say always, this early in the year, you're not going to be like out of the running with a loss like this. It's not like you're going to be pushed back like, oh, we're going to be chasing all season now trying to make up that one game. But you don't want to give away games that you shouldn't.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, DDP, though, while you're saying that. I mean, to me, I hear what you're saying about how the team is construed. I like it too, but it's not athletic enough. I mean, we're going to struggle with athletic teams. We're not an athletic team. That's why we like Josh Green. That's why you like him coming off that bench, because he gives you some athleticism that you don't have, and he can compete with that athleticism defensively, getting out on the break. That's what you want. And I feel like we are not athletic enough. When we go against those type of teams, we struggle because they are going to crash the boards against us. We don't have any defensive presence. And I'm just gonna say it one last time. I'm not gonna beat the dead horse no more because it's over. But daggone it, you should have signed Dwight Howard instead of JaVale McGee. It makes no sense that JaVale McGee, you guaranteed JaVale McGee a starting spot. When you first told me that. When you told me that, DDP, I didn't know that. You guaranteed JaVale McGee at 34, who ain't did nothing. He them championships.
Not as a starter.
But, yeah, but it's not like he was dominant. JaVale McGee has never been dominant.
Behind Dwight.
When you feel me? And when you look at what Dwight Howard would have offered you, he would have got you rebounds. He would have got you block shots. He would have been able to score inside. And he gives you a defensive presence that you need. Because even with Christian Wood, I like his length. But if you look at him from side to side on his defense, his footwork is not fast. That's why he has trouble going against forwards his size or a little bit smaller, because they can take him off the dribble.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned JaVale McGee, like as far as like bringing athleticism to the table, that's what they were expecting, that they would get rim protection to help solidify that interior defense a little bit, and that they would have a versatile lob threat for them. And the expectation was bare minimum he would be an upgrade over like Dwight Powell, who in 3 years 3 playoff runs with this team is averaging like 9 playoff minutes per game. Like that's not Dwight Powell. He's the ultimate lunch pail guy, and that's great. He has value on the team, but I don't think you want to be relying on him as your starter. So the situation that the JaVale McGee thing is here, I think has them in a difficult spot where it's like, okay, it's the Thanos endgame thing, right? Like you couldn't live with your mistake, and where did it lead you? Right back to me. Like that's Dwight Powell talking about the situation here. So
that's
for real.
Apocalyptic.
For real.
Yeah. So
For real.
that's when that fell apart. I think that really kind of unsettled what they thought. And we talked about this before the season. They're going to take the first month. They're going to kind of evaluate what they got. And I think right now they're probably taking a hard look at the JaVale McGee situation because they're like, okay, we promised him a starting job. We took it away from him, gave it to Dwight Powell for 2 or 3 games, and then we put him back in the lineup. He played 3 minutes and change against Brooklyn the other night, and in vintage JaVale McGee form had like the worst pass ever to Luka Doncic to the point where Luka literally like stopped and like looked at Jason Kidd like, "Are you serious right now? Is this what we're doing?" JaVale came out of the game, never came back, and I mean, hell, there was a moment in this game even where McGee tried to post someone up and took an awkward fall away shot, missed it pretty badly. Luka's on the bench and Luka's like flapping his hand, like looking down the bench at Jason Kidd.
It's kind of weird that I don't want to say that they were desperate when it came to signing JaVale McGee, but the fact that
it was desperate. You was right, and
it felt like
they was
needed
desperate.
a response.
It was desperate.
I'm trying to be tactful and
don't be tactful.
But yeah, it was desperate. But not only did you promise him a position on the team, but you gave him 3 years, right?
Yeah,
right.
If I remember, is there like a player's option on that or something like that, or is it? I hope it's a team at least.
I think it's a team. I think guys, let us know in the chat. I think it's a team option for year 3, but
that's crazy.
Yeah, it was the pressure of feeling like they needed a response because the Jalen thing happened and they weren't getting these other guys, these other names that they were. You always hear the names like Mavericks are in consideration. Never happens. And so I think they felt that pressure. And JaVale himself said it wasn't just like, oh, what made you want to come to Dallas? Oh, it wasn't just watching Luka for 7 games in the second round. It was because they offered him a starting job.
Yeah.
Like it was reuniting with Kidd, being offered a starting job. And he was aware, obviously having seen Luka up close and knew how far the team went that year. Like, yeah, this seems like a good fit. Who else is going to give me a starting job at age 34? Right. So it was always a reach, but the hope, and it's still early, but like the hope was, okay, with Luka and McGee's remaining athletic ability, you'll get some interior defense that's at least an upgrade over what we had, and you'll get a viable lob threat. Luka can spoon feed him all day, and it just hasn't materialized.
I've always been skeptical of the JaVale McGee signing because I feel like you can get probably 85 to 90% of his production at literally league minimum.
Yeah,
just
probably.
Like, we could have probably got it, like you said, Dwight Howard, and he's in Taiwan right now. I will take a Dwight Howard at veterans minimum than a 3-year how many $1 million contract for JaVale McGee.
Yeah.
And yeah, so Travis Banks, I'll just say McGee got the hype, but I don't understand where the hype came from. He didn't play that much during that Suns playoff run. I mean,
last year, no, he didn't do much last year.
No.
It was the 2 titles with the Warriors.
McGee hype. There ain't never been no JaVale McGee hype. He's been on Shaq
as a starter, no. Yeah, as a starter, no. But
I would have taken JaVale McGee. I was excited about him when we got him way back when, like when was it, 2015? Because what he brought, he still had a little bit of athleticism, but it was before his quote unquote blow up with the Warriors. But what he's been giving now, I mean, it's like I said, there's so much talent in the league. I don't know what the front office is doing or what their mindset is in terms of how they have the overall look of the players in the league. But this league is more talented than it's ever been. You can literally get guys like, imagine we had a chance at a Dennis Smith Jr. if we wanted to bring him in to be our third point guard. The man was literally waiting to get signed
Asking.
back.
begging.
try
Hey,
out
come on,
for-
give me.
Yeah, trying to try out for the NFL. And now he's starting for the Charlotte Bobcats,
Yep.
albeit because of a injury situation, but he's playing very well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the guy that literally last second was a signee that we had a chance at, and we couldn't pull the trigger. Instead, we got a Facu Campazzo, which
Say what it is. Ain't nothing.
Still
ain't
disappointed.
nothing-
I mean,
You feel me?
Kemba Walker.
There were
still
better
out there.
options for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. There's still
you
better
know
options to this day.
And even what you're just bouncing off that's the thing I'm going with the athleticism. Dennis
Yeah.
Smith Jr. has athleticism.
Yes.
Him coming off the bench gives you more athleticism to compete with those other guys and to put the pressure on ball defense. Because like you said, we know Luka ain't no great defensive player, but they're going to wear him down. These teams are coming into the point, just like the Magic did. They said, we're going to play him up close. We're going to body him. We're going to wear him down. Obviously, Spencer did what he did his thing, but beyond that, if Reggie Bullock, and we gonna talk about him, or then Finney Smith, they not hitting. I mean, it's bad. Like if we ain't hitting our 3-point shots, buddy, it's bad.
Yeah.
Let me run these stats on the McGee situation here. So he's averaging 4.3 points, 2.6 boards this season. The first 4 games of the year, he was averaging 12 minutes 45 seconds. Since then, he's averaging 6 minutes exactly. So it's bad. Even if you take the sample size of those first 4 games, you're not getting a whole lot production wise out of him. And he's been bad defensively, and the interior has been really bad. I remember that Pelicans game, like what was it, Valanciunas went like right at him, like repeatedly.
First play, killer.
Repeatedly, like, and it was just like matador defense. Like he was giving up the position, he was giving up easy buckets inside, and it was like, ooh, that's troubling. And it just feels like we've seen a lot of that again. Now you're getting these plays where in that situation, Luka's easy cutting in the middle of the paint, cutting to the basket, and he throws the ball like 6 feet over his head like a bullet. Like I don't even know what he's doing in that case. So it's not going well. It's a failed experiment. This is here's another stat here from Grant Afseth on Twitter. He says the Mavericks scoring differential with JaVale McGee. With McGee on the court, they are a minus 28. That's 76 minutes. With him off the court, they are a plus 78 with 366 minutes. Specifically with Luka Doncic, Luka Doncic's on-off court scoring differential. Doncic with McGee, minus 29. That's 70 minutes. Doncic without McGee, plus 64. That's 261 minutes. It's not working.
That's
And
the definition of telling.
yeah. Like there's obviously, like I said, how many games now are we? Like 12 games into the year, something like that.
I think today was our 10th game.
10th game. Okay.
Yep.
So
Or
yeah,
not.
it's very early, but at the same time, what we're seeing is uniquely troubling. It's not like a shooting slump like if you had a shooter in this case and he's in a little bit of a slump, you're like, all right, he's getting the looks, he's just not hitting them. Career trajectory shows he'll balance out. He'll find a rhythm. It's not that kind of situation. It's like the main things he was brought to the team to do, he's not doing and not showing a capability of fitting with what they need him to do. So that's where it's like, ooh, okay, so this is a uniquely bad situation. Then this might just be like not even like a fit sort of thing, but just like the chemistry is not right, or he's regressing, or whatever. It's uniquely bad, and I think they're going to have to figure out something to do. Not the least of which is just basically not start him anymore.
Thanks, Carlos. I was literally trying to find the
10th game, 6-4.
Yeah, I was trying to find the record, and I was wrong. Thank you for correcting me. But to that note, you want to know the weird thing about this team? And although we are 6-4, we had some pretty good wins. I guess 2 of them against Brooklyn, who I still think is a fairly talented team. Although
Brooklyn,
just underperforming. But like you said, literally no one is performing at the jobs that they've been set out to do, except for, of course, Luka.
Yeah,
Spencer's actually doing it. Spencer kind of quietly has pretty much taken over the JB Brunson role and has almost matched his production. And And then Christian Wood, who he had like 2 games where he really didn't do anything, but
Yeah.
he's actually been pretty as advertised. But for some reason, he's not getting the minutes. But the guys who are the ones who are getting all the minutes, the ones who are getting all the contract extensions. Maxey's, the Dorian Finney-Smiths. I know I love those guys.
Yeah.
They just haven't shown up, and Theo Pinson, he said on this, I think he put it on his YouTube channel talking about how he hates it how they're catching slack, but I mean that's what are we supposed to do?
That's what
your guys
happens,
are literally on the court. They're on the court to play defense and shoot threes.
Yep.
And if you look at our defensive ratings, where a lot of those guys are playing, it's not where it needs to be.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then
I love the Dodo extension. The Maxi
I still love
me.
the Dodo extension. Maxi,
for the value, it's great.
Yeah.
The Maxi one scares me just because of his age.
Higher than a lot of the people who I talk to. A lot of people are beginning to question it. I'm just like, look, 11 mil in the next couple of years, that's like the average, a below average NBA player will be making 11 mil here in the next couple of years.
Right.
So I'm okay with it. The thing where I am perturbed is the amount of minutes they're getting over and the way how they're being utilized and the players who they are taking minutes from, where let's just call a spade. There's no reason why, for me, in my opinion, there's no reason why a Maxi Kleber should be getting more minutes than a Christian Wood.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? Especially with the level of play currently for Maxi.
I was talking with we talked Mavs, the Go Gang. Shout out to them boys, Rel and King. But I was talking with them, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, because Maxi's defense or whatever," and I get it, right? But what Maxi is producing on the defensive end
does not offset what Wood is producing on the offensive.
Does not offset, and it's not so much greater than what Christian Wood can give you on the offensive end. Then it makes sense to play Christian Wood 21 minutes, Maxi Kleber 20 whatever 9 minutes, have Maxi close out games. We've literally had possessions, last shot possessions where the lineup was Luka, Dinwiddie, Reggie, Dorian, and Maxi. And it was like, we have a dude who's probably the most efficient dude on our team on the bench, and you can't say it's because of defense, because we literally had one shot and we're on offense. Like, it makes no sense.
And Christian Wood in that situation is shooting 46% from three.
He's shooting very well. Even the games where he's not producing a lot, he's still, whatever he's producing, he's still doing it efficiently.
Yeah.
And his defense, yes, I understand, is not, up to par. It looks kind of, wonky. He's still, and he's not as bad to where it's like, in my opinion, it's not detrimental. You know what I mean? We have the players, like, this is why we give Dorian Finney-Smith an extension, so he can kind of make up for the I guess the lack of defense for a Christian Wood, so he can give him help, or we're so high on Coach Sean Sweeney and his defensive schemes, and I know Christian Wood's trying to learn it, but he's not going to learn it as fast when he's on the bench, where he can actually play and see, hey, when they're going through film, they can be like, hey, this is what you did, this is what you should have done. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's mind games that Kid is trying to play.
I do. Given his background and everything, I think that's certainly in the realm of possibility.
Well, we're messing with fire. We're
absolutely. James, I know you got some opinions on this. What are you thinking? Is Kid playing with fire here?
I mean, he's definitely playing with fire, because this is a guy that's on a 1-year deal with you, and you want to keep him. You want to sign him to a multi-year deal. You need this inside presence. You know what I'm saying? We don't have one without him. Just like what you're saying, we don't have an inside presence, period. It's not Maxi Kleber. It's not Dwight Powell. It's not JaVale McGee. It's none of them. It's Christian Wood. And Yeah, he definitely needs to be. And just like what you were saying, I mean, since we've seen so many games this year where you got Maxi Kleber at 26 minutes, Christian Wood 23. Maxi Kleber with 30 minutes, Christian Wood with 24 minutes. And then you see Christian Wood getting 21 to 10 in 24 minutes, and Maxi Kleber getting 5 points, 2 of 7, you know what I'm saying, 4 boards, and what? Why? I mean, I get it. Now, I will say, I feel what you're saying, Enyi, that it's not so detrimental as far as the defense to keep him off the court. But yes, he still does. If you watch him in the games, he does have to get better. Like,
Sure.
He's slow to react. Slide to side, his foot speed, and with that length, you gotta try to block shots. You know what I'm saying? Because he averaged like a block over there at Houston. With that length that he offers, he's got to get in there and block shots. Now he's doing good on the rebounds. I like how he's rebounding.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Part of defense. There's a philosophy where rebounding is a part of defense.
Definitely. So he's in there doing that. And I'm not even being critical of that, but I'm just saying, I guess I'm trying to look at it from what I don't know what kid is doing. There's no reason to do it. There's no point to prove because this is one of your better players on the team. There's 3 players on this team that we can sit there and say are our dogs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dinwiddie, Luka, and Christian Wood. So why are you not playing one of your dogs when you ain't got that many dogs on the team?
Yeah.
Feel me?
Do you think it comes down to
about to be a dog, by the way?
Think it comes down?
Josh Green about to be a dog.
Josh Green, yeah, I think so.
You about to be.
Do you think in the case of Wood that it comes down somewhat to Kidd's perception of effort, that he doesn't feel like Wood is giving full effort defensively? It's one thing to have certain deficiencies. You can coach around that. But do you feel like it has something to do with the perception that he's not giving full effort or he's not, following his assignments properly? And that is factoring into why he's not playing specifically in crunch time. Because he'll have 21 and 10 in some of these games and he'll just be killing it. And then it's like, oh, here we go into crunch time. And there goes Wood to the bench. See you later.
It's almost... I don't get it because it's frustrating because it's like you said, when he starts getting on a roll, it's almost like when Jason Kidd is about to sub him in the 4th quarter. It's almost like the set time. I don't like that part of it because he's like he brings them in at a set time every game, like around 6-7 minutes. Here comes Christian Wood. At the end of the game, 3rd quarter, he's turning up, going crazy. 4th quarter, he's going to get all that mid 4th quarter. And then when it comes down to 6 to 7 minutes, here comes freaking Bullock and Finney Smith. I'm like, I'm gonna keep real. I don't want to see Bullock right now. I want to see Bullock right now at the end of the game. You need to if you want to put somebody in the game, you better put in Christian Wood and sit Bullock down because he ain't offering you nothing right now at all. I mean, he can't create off the dribble. His game is the 3-point shot. If he ain't hitting a 3-point shot, what is he doing?
The Mavericks, to your point, now you said the Mavericks are lacking in the athletic department. Yeah, on top of that, when I was doing the little, I guess, the draft
breakdown
wish
analysis,
list, that 45 minutes ended up being completely irrelevant.
that was great. We posted it, and then the next day,
I did that video
was the Christian Wood trade.
I did that video like at 2 a.m. Like it was.
Yeah.
I put work in. I
know, dude. I edited the video. That video was like an hour and a half. I cut it down to 45 minutes.
I'm sorry.
Trust me, I was hurting too.
But anyway, like one of the things I was looking for is because I know what the team lacks and you lack in creators, and some of the sentiment around the team is, oh, Luka's going to create for everybody. He's like, you don't want Luka to be 100% responsible for the success of the offense, right? Luka had a bad game today.
Yeah.
Spencer Dinwiddie had a good game, but you would want other people to take the pressure off Luka, right? That's the whole reason why LeBron went to Miami and went to Cleveland and went back you know what I mean? He's never wanted to be the person where I can look to my left and my right and be like, okay, it's a with how competitive this league is and how talented it is very tough to do it by yourself. And he's young, he's probably feeling good, but if it persists, like I said before, we're playing with fire. You better, nourish the talent that you have. You have, Christian Wood, although he's not like top 25 talent, he does have the makings of a guy who can create for himself offensively get buckets efficiently. Because
Mm-hmm.
one of the things we kept saying was bad stats or good stats, bad team guy. But even in Houston, when he was losing games, he was still putting up numbers and he was efficient. That's the one thing to always look at,
Mm-hmm.
the efficiency. So if we compare that with Luka, now it's Luka doesn't have to do everything. Now
Right.
Luka can be more well rested going into crunch time. But it's like, nope, we don't want no one to take the ball away from Luka, so you will have to do everything every time he's on the court. Literally, no one else creates. Everyone just stands in their spots, and then Luka just reads. And it's cool and it's fun right now. But I'm telling Mavs fans, you don't want that. You do not want that.
No,
not
I
at all.
agree. That's your James Harden, that's your Russell Westbrook MVP seasons. Like it's dazzling from their standpoint. Luka is doing absolute video game numbers right now, but yeah, it's not sustainable long term, and it's not how you wanna build long term either. So, yeah, Christian Wood he's the most dynamic weapon Dallas has had to pair with Luka Doncic. And even if you're going to insist on him coming off the bench, fine, you should be utilizing him where he's your sixth man of the year. Like he should be right out of the gate leading the charge for that. But because you're screwing around with his minutes so much and because you're not playing him in crunch time, he's not even in any kind of consideration for it. So he's averaging 15.6 points, 7.8 boards on 56.7% from the field, 46.2% from three. His per is 20.14, which is 39th in the league. If you take out there, you mentioned earlier, he had a couple duds, both games against Orlando. Well, he didn't play today, but he had
one
Orlando
against Nets, and the first time
the Nets, the first time with the Nets. I think he had like a 5 point, a 6 point, and then two 11-point games. But it's like if you take out those handful of duds, his averages leap up to like 18.4, 7.7 boards, shooting 61% from the field and over 60% from three. Like you said, highly efficient. And he can create for himself. That's the big thing. It doesn't have to be. It's not that he's a kind of creator where he's going to set up other guys, but he can at least get his own bucket.
Well, he's actually exhibiting a little bit of playmaking.
A little bit, yeah,
a little bit. Not like
efficient.
Yeah, he can dump it off. But you know what about what Christian Wood? I think is the reason why he had those kind of a dud type games. If in my opinion, when you watch when he comes in, I feel like he's pressing because he knows his minutes are limited. And when he gets in the game, he might look like he might take a quick shot or maybe like, why'd you take that shot so quick? Because I feel like he's pressing because when he gets in the game, he knows his minutes ain't going to be long. So he's trying to get what he can when he get in because he's coming back out. He's not going to play at the end of the games. That's what it's been showing right now. So I feel like in those games, I watched him. He was pressing when he came. As soon as he came, he wanted to score. When he get the ball again, he wanted to try to score because he's trying to get in and get them points in and trying to get it in rhythm quick because he knows he's going to be coming back out, and not in a time where he can stay hot. It's like whenever he starts getting real cooking, that's when Jason Kidd's like, all right, come on here and sit down. And if I'm a player and we're talking about playing with the player's mind, if I'm coming off, you brought me in to play, and at the end of the game, you keep taking me out, that's not going to sit well with me as a player. I'm going to be mad because I feel like I can contribute to help this team win, and I can't do it if I'm sitting on the bench.
Yeah. No, 100% agree. It's one of those things, if defense is a liability for him, and if it's something that he's not, whether it's effort-based in Kidd's opinion or not, if that's a weakness of his, then it's like, all right, well, when I'm in here, I have to maximize what I'm doing offensively, and I have to make sure that I do this, because even if this is a 1-year swim, I got to make sure that I still show out so that my value is as high as it can be. So yeah, it's all about that, and I almost wonder how much Kidd is aware of that possibility and like actively trying to break him, which I don't think is the right strategy here. You're trying to recruit.
Not.
If you want him to invest in you long term, and again, he's your second best player, you need him to invest in you long term. You've never had a weapon like this. You're not going to find many guys around the league that you can plug and play to this level of this scoring prowess and efficiency. You need to make sure you have him happy. And look at it too, as far as like your future recruiting efforts. If you mess around with this, it's going to be something where other teams are going to look at it. Other players are going to look at Dallas and be like, man, they couldn't even keep Christian Wood happy here. And he was like the second best thing they had. It fuels that perception of like, oh, it's the Luka Doncic show and company. And I don't think that's a Luka based thing. Luka keeps saying we need to get him involved more. We need to, be utilizing him more. And he takes ownership of that. And then you'll see Wood have another great game, but the minutes still haven't cracked 30 this year. It's crazy. So I don't know what kind of 4D chess kid thinks he's playing with it. He gained a lot of leeway with last year. I understand that, but I also don't want to F around and find out as far as like what we do. Because if you already feel like we don't have enough athleticism on this team, take Christian Wood off it and tell me how you feel about the athleticism.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's why he got to play. That's one of our few athletes, like I said, besides Josh Green. And you know, DDP, I've been screaming. I know he's young. But I need to see
Josh Green now.
No, Josh Green for sure. We're gonna have a whole little spot on him, but I want to say one little tidbit. Jaden Hardy got to still get some sneaky minutes here and there, because he is another guy that can create off the dribble and can create his own shot and is athletic. That's what Dallas needs. And he can score. He can get the ball. He can take you off the dribble. He is streaky, but he can score from deep. He can take you off the dribble. He's athletic. He can get in the paint. That's our problem. We don't have guys that can get in the paint and create the shots besides Luka. And just like what Enyi said, it's a terrible to me when you see Luka coming down and you got 4 guys on the top of the perimeter. No, that does not work.
Right.
But if you're trying to win a championship, that's not going to be the way to go. It's not.
Not
it might
this
win
early,
it might win you regular season games. It actually might even win you a series or two, like we saw last year. But when you get to the nitty gritty, when you get to the tippy top of the top tier teams, they'll scheme you right out of that, and they'll make your life a living hell if you're going to be that heliocentric. Now, what we can do is if we can get guys that can create, because what Luka is very good at, Luka is good at busting defenses, right? And he can
what was the Toronto game? They say he saw like 23 different coverages.
And he
dissected them all.
He figured them all out. Now imagine that with a better team that has a better offense, is not being led imagine like what the Warriors did. I mean, boxing one, they made it really tough. Get the ball out of Luka's hands. I mean, that's the type of I would want a Reggie Bullock or a Dorian Finney-Smith to be the guy to beat us. I don't want I'm not trying to have Luka beat us. I already know what he can do. So, but if you have guys that can create off what Luka already has done, right? It doesn't have to be shoot the ball or give it back to Luka, which that's the type of offense we're in if Luka gives it up. You know what I mean? Like, can you attack a closeout? Can you try to draw a foul or something like that? I like what Big Games is saying about trying to get Jaden Hardy in there. Jaden Hardy is just some confidence away. That's all he's lacking. We saw him in the G League. Like he
showed out in his couple games.
All three levels. That's exactly what we need. We need any type of talent that can create literally, this is how bad it's getting. Luka doesn't even know how to shoot the ball if it's a regular catch and shoot.
Yeah.
Like you saw that one that he did a couple of games ago. Like he was like, "What is this? I'm wide open," and I didn't should I do a step back even though I'm wide open? Like this is weird. Yeah. That should not be the case. We should at least have more people that at the very least can create an off-balance defense. Yeah. But we have no one. Anything underneath the 3-point line are guys that are getting the bulk of our minutes. They're irrelevant offensively underneath the 3-point line.
Yeah, with Hardy, he's gonna need some seasoning, but
he is.
Dinwiddie might be replacing a lot of Brunson's role in productivity, but Brunson's patience and ability to weave his way into the paint, just be so crafty with his moves and finish in pressure situations, late shot clock, whatever, make something out of nothing. That's something that Dinwiddie doesn't have to the same level, and Hardy might have that capacity. It might just be something that needs some seasoning. So losing Brunson in the short term,
there's definitely stuff there with Hardy that I would like to see blossom, and it might take a year or two. I mean, Jalen Brunson, as good as he is, it took him 3-4 years to get that we saw him at last year. So, I mean, with smaller guards, with how athletic the league is, it's definitely going to take him a lot longer. I just wish that we would at least
speed up the
sprinkle him-
process.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Because it's a young
give him
guys
some
league,
minutes.
Annie. It's a young guys league. These
Yeah.
young guys, you see the Jalen Greens, you see these guys going to the G League, Dyson Daniels. These
Mhm.
guys have already got some NBA type experience.
Yep.
So it's not like he's coming out from college and don't know nothing, didn't see anything. He
Mhm.
got to play against pro type players. So
Mhm.
kid, give him some minutes to keep on giving him confidence. Because just like you said, when he's just confidence away. And when he start getting some confidence, dog, you're gonna start seeing that player, and he is going to help. Especially now, we can go ahead and segue to the Josh Green, because if you can get the Hardy in there, and then you get the Josh Green in there, now you're feeling good. We got some athletes out there now,
Mhm.
and the Christian Woods. Now we feel like we can run with you a little bit. We can
Mhm.
take you to the hole a little bit. Now, guess what? The Reggie Bullocks and the Finney Smiths are better because now it's just not Luka creating a pass for you. You got other the guys can do it, and I feel like that makes them a better player.
And then that'll segue to a better Luka at end of game because
Yes,
you have to do
you're not as
everything
tired.
you- Yeah, all 48 minutes. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yep.
Like this is like making everyone better doesn't benefit anybody any more than Luka Doncic.
So we're going to talk Green to give context on the usage that we're putting on Luka right now. The general stats on him: 36.3 points. This was entering. I think this was as of like yesterday morning. 36.6 or 0.3 points, 9.5 boards. I feel like that's a typo.
I think it was like 36, 8 and 8 somewhere. Around
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
36,
think
8
they
and 8.
had a typo because as soon as I said 9, I was like, that doesn't sound quite
Yeah,
right.
that's right.
A little upset.
Regardless, first in the
Little
league,
video gaming.
points per game, usage percentage, assist percentage, points per possession when the primary ball handler in a pick and roll, third in drives per game. Like the usage on him is insane, and he's driving like relentlessly to the paint. That's so when you're talking about like being kind of worn down, it's not just teams making him work for it. Like to his credit, the thing we've been screaming about forever, like, dude, you are built like a you're barrel chested, you're thick, you're 6'8" and you're thick. You can get in there, you're crafty, you are perfect for getting at the paint. But when you're doing these fall away step backs and things like that, you're not as efficient, and you're not going to have as many games as where you're hitting those. So he actually is attacking, and that's great. But it is something that it's putting a lot of stress and strain on him thus far, because until today's streak where he had 36 or today's streak of 30-point games was snapped, he was like 32, 35, 37, 41, 31, 44, 35, 36. Absurd. So the fact that you're now in this situation where it's like, okay, now you can get him some athletes, some guys that can create a little bit, take some of that pressure off of him, not make it where everything has to be running through him exclusively and he has to spoon feed every possession, every single teammate. That's going to open some things up. So that's building off what you guys were just saying. That's just further supporting that. Where it's like, hey, those numbers are awesome, sensational, MVP type stuff. It's not what we want to focus on right now, though. We want to focus on like the team and making it as well-rounded and well-built for a deep run as possible.
Yeah.
And if you're going to ask Luka to do this for a whole season, you're not going to get this same Luka come playoffs. You're just not.
Mhm.
You're
So, okay, let's. So we touched on Josh Green a little bit here. We're going to focus on the Brooklyn game because that felt like the coming out party for Josh Green. 27 minutes, 16 points, 5 boards, 5 of 5 from the field, 2 of 2 from 3, 4 of 4 at the line, a plus 13. Sensational. That felt like the coming out game for Josh Green. You saw a lot more confidence, not just in taking the open shot willingly, not like being reluctant. You also saw him driving and kicking, like making the skip pass, moving the ball well, making the right play in these situations. I think you saw even last year, like there was boldness in some of his creating, whether he was throwing like a magician pass or something like that. But now you're kind of seeing him take the simple right play as well. And there's something to it. The confidence is building, and that's the best thing for him because that's felt like the biggest thing he's been lacking in his first 2 seasons. And if he can actually add that in, then the breakout, even if it's about 10 games into the season, finally getting started, the breakout everyone anticipated might actually be coming to fruition. And that's going to be nothing but good for this team.
Yeah, for sure. One of the things I would say about Josh Green is, I'm highly like I'm new to the hype train of that is Josh Green, but he is a template of a type of player you will want to have around Luka, right? So he hasn't been fully actualized yet. He's well on his way. Now we're beginning to see what people were talking about during the summertime, but I'm more keyed into him now because, we have Reggie, we have Dorian. If we were to have Josh Green be able to shoot at their level, how they were shooting at the end of at the season last year, and him increase his confidence of taking the ball into the hoop, like now we're talking. Now we're like James is saying, we're adding a little bit more athleticism. You have a guy who's capable of creating as well. You have a guy who can also shoot, so you have to respect him come playoff time, right? Those are the traits that I feel like we need to just copy and paste amongst all the other role players on the team. Because if you actually look at other teams, I'm not sure if it's just how the play style of Dallas, but other teams, their guys have the confidence to drive in and try to create something. Some of them probably even too much confidence, like maybe chill out a little bit. But I'm almost kind of envious. Is like, man, like I see some role players are coming in and they're taking it in. It's not looking weird. Rel from Glow Mavs, and he always says he cringes every time Dorian Finney-Smith tries to drive it in.
For real.
Yeah. I cringe every time I see Maxey try to take a jump shot from 15 feet or less. It's like, we shouldn't be a team filled with people who can't do anything.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm so happy. When I was watching that game against the Nets and seeing Josh Green do what he was doing, man, I'm so happy because he is lighting it up right now. I think he has the best 3-point percentage. I'm not sure where he stands after this game because I think he went 0 for 2 or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Entering the game, he was shooting 61.5% from 3, which was leading the league.
Yeah, significantly too. It was like the second person was like
Kelly Olynyk or something.
Yeah. And he's just not, just standing
Former
there.
Mavs great.
He's creating as well. So
yeah,
I'm very happy to see that. Shout out
minutes
to ATV in the comment section too.
His minutes have been on an upward trend as well. The first Brooklyn game, he had about 13 and a half minutes. Then he had 15, 17, almost 19, 20, now basically 27 minutes. So he's and how many minutes did he have in tonight's game? I don't have that in front of me. I didn't add that to the thing before we jumped on.
I think
he had 25 minutes.
25 minutes. Okay, yeah. So he's trending upward for sure. And that's
average
good.
that. That should be
he should,
yeah.
He should
I agree. Especially with the team like it is now. The best thing you can do is like, okay, if we're going to have some struggles early on and we're not going to necessarily come, roaring out of the gates, the very least we can do is effectively use this time to try and develop some of these guys, particularly Green, who looks like he's ready to break out. So I'm all for it. His true shooting percentage this year is like astronomical. It's like nearly perfection. It's like 92% true shooting percentage, which is the 99th percentile. Like ridiculous. Again, that's entering this game, so it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
If he
you
had
know what I like about him, DDP? You know what I like about him, and I
Yeah.
think I'm bouncing off what Enyi was saying, is that he's perfect for Luka. He's actually perfect for this team because I believe if you had Josh Green on a
partner,
if you had Josh Green on another team, I think he would get lost in the shuffle. But because Dallas needs his athleticism, he can shine on the Maverick squad. And I believe he benefits from Luka because Luka is like this. If Luka can see you play, if Luka can see you can make plays, he's going to get you the ball. He's going to go to the hole. He's going to draw that double team, and he's going to look for you, and he's going to create and make it easier for you. That's why you like Luka the way he can pass, because he makes it easier for you to finish your plays or make your shots. You see what I mean? And that's why it's going to be it makes an easier game for Josh Green. What he's got to continue to do, he's real ball dominant right-handed, so I think he's got to continue to incorporate, not just going to the right side, because he's kind of one-sided the way he plays. So I think he's got to continue to be versatile with that. I don't think he's going to be shooting like that all year. I definitely don't see that. But as long as he can continue to give those good positive minutes, that good energy, because he's bouncy too. You see him tipping rebounds.
When there's definitely a game changer. Yeah,
that's what we need. We need a guy and he can guard three positions. He can guard your point guard, your shooting guard, and your small forward. You know what I mean? So that's three guys that he can guard and really help you with. So his minutes, his athleticism, and I like it because, like when you said, when we played the Brooklyn Nets, when we played Toronto Raptors, because that Raptors game, boy, like I said, I was envious of their forwards. I'm envious of their forwards. Piasco Siakam, Scotty Barnes, Obananaya. That's what I wish our forwards could be, because they constantly can put stress on your defense at all times.
Yeah, that is actually like my dream team to put around Luka. Like if I was, I guess, I hate to do this, but okay, I'm gonna do it. If I was to be like this fake GM, like on 2K or whatever, and construct the Mavs team, it would definitely be filled with dudes who are around 6'7", 6'8", athletic, can jump, can shoot, can play defense, can do all that, and just have Luka. Luka wouldn't even be my leading scorer. And in my ideal world, Luka wouldn't be my leading scorer. He would break the record of the amount of assists he would get.
And triple doubles. His triple doubles. He'd be like Russell Westbrook.
He wouldn't need to get 40-point triple doubles. He would get like 20-point triple doubles. But he would definitely have like 25 assist games. Yeah. And we'll be completely crazy, like that type of stuff. But we just, we're just so dependent. We're so dependent on Luka. It bothers me. As much as I love Luka, I'm not a Luka hater. I'm just real about how I look at his game and how I look and how I evaluate the Mavs and what they're doing with them. We
definitely are asking too much on a game by game basis. It's like just because you're capable of this and it's exciting watching you do this doesn't mean that this is the ideal model. And like I said, you can look to any number of guys who can set the league on fire. And I'm not saying that to say like, oh, there's so many, but like guys who put up those astronomical numbers. Russell Westbrook, James Harden are the main ones that come.
Yeah.
Who did you say?
No, I'm just saying they never win.
I thought you added a third name, and I didn't catch it.
No. They always have those gaudy numbers, just like with KD. Why do you think he left? He wanted to go with Steph. He wanted to go with Clay. He wanted to go with them dogs. He wanted to go with other players that he didn't have to feel like he had the pressure of dropping 35 points a night. I don't have to. You know what? I can if I want to, but it feels good when I got other players where I can just sit here and say, hey, I can get 20, but he's going to get 40 today. That's what a player likes. I don't care what anybody says. It's good. It feels good for a little bit to be scoring when you first get in the league, but you want other players that can complement you and can take over games too. It makes you better as a player when you don't have to feel like you got to come out there and drop that. Trust me. When Luka is having a Christian Wood going crazy, he loves it. Trust me, he does.
We've seen him. We've seen the memes of him celebrating when other people score. It's like, dude, if you're a competitor in this league, you're competing at the highest pinnacle, right? No one wants to do it by the only people who are immature about the situation that they're in will want to be. I'd rather lose games and put 30 points a game than put 20 points a game and win. Like those are immature people. Real competitors will look to their left and look to the right and be like, I'm so happy I don't have to do it by myself. I want people that I can count on. I want people that I can throw the ball to, and they'll get just as hyped when they score than when I score. Like you don't want to have to, like you want to be the guy, but you want to be backed up by highly competent players, and that's why we see, especially nowadays, that's why we see dudes run to other teams. We've seen, like I said, LeBron James. Like we made fun of him. We caught him weak. We said all these terrible things to him, and I was one of those people who said it. However, it makes sense. Like I don't want to have to go into the finals against the '07 Spurs and look to my left and see Larry Hughes and Darnell Marshall.
You feel me?
Mo Williams.
Varejao.
Anderson Varejao getting dunked on like Ilgauskas. Like who are these guys? Like, come on. You want to go in knowing that you have a shot. You don't have to put up 50 points for your team to have a shot, because that gets mad tiring. I'm telling you. Take it from me, someone who's playing in basketball. I'm just kidding. I was gonna say I played in basketball.
We're already a 3-man podcast. We don't need to check all the boxes for the cliches by being like, let me tell you my personal sports story.
I'm just saying, I hooped, and when I hooped, I played with some really good players back when I was in high school and things of such, and summer leagues, things of that nature. And I always loved getting on a team where we had a lot of good players, because number one, you feel you love to win. And just like you said, number two, it feels good when you go out on the court. And when I know I can score, I know I can take you to the hole. I know what I can do. But it's even better when I know I can go to the hole, create, you go up in the air, and I can dish it off. And I know he going to spray you too. It feels so much better. You run down court, you're excited because you know what? We're going to shut you down and we're going to win this game. And I don't even got to kill you all day. I got my dogs that can do it. And I'm telling you, as a player, it feels so much better. Your team is better, because when you see Luka at the end of the game, just like this game, when they had the interview, you see he was frustrated. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's just like, bro, somebody else got to step up and make plays. I can't do this all damn time.
This is Luka at 23. Imagine when Luka is 25, 26.
Oh, he burnout.
When you have some miles under him, like I mean, he can do it now when he's 23. When you get older, you've been like, okay, guys, like this is
enough. I need players.
Yeah.
Jordan did it. Look, Jordan did it. He first
Kobe
came to the league. Kobe did it. Kobe said, "You're gonna trade me unless you get me players." You get what I'm saying? He wanted to leave the Lakers and said, "Until you got me players."
Announced his trade request on live TV.
Said, I need players. If you don't get me players, I'm out of here. And like I said, you saw where Jordan struggled for so long until he got some players, some dogs, the Scottie Pippens. When you get dogs with you, then you're like, okay, now your game and your team goes to another level.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do. But they are 6-4 through the first 10 games. We talked about it, saying we anticipated, just because of the trend of like the last decade, as a little bit of a slow start. I would say 6-4 is slow. It's not like a brutal slow start. They've certainly started slower plenty of times in recent years, but it's kind of been TGK had a good word for it in the comments there. Underwhelming. You look at multiple losses now. There's been at least 3 of their 4 losses where you're like, that just shouldn't have happened. Like that should not have been a loss. You were looking past them. You didn't take them seriously. You took a loss to a team that was missing one or more star players.
Pelicans,
Magic.
OKC, how did that happen?
Yeah, OKC doesn't even want to win. They're OKC's over there like, guys,
come on.
The
Jazz is about to trade the whole team.
Like,
Jazz
really?
is like, y'all must be winning too much. Like, I gotta put an end to this. Can I put a positive spin? Because I've been noticing myself a little bit down in the dumps lately when I'm talking about the Mavs, because they are doing a lot of things that are pissing me off. But on the positive side, yes, this start has been underwhelming. But if you look at the other teams who we thought were contenders, they're also even more underwhelming than
that's
what
fair.
we're going through.
And for a show with the word positive in the title, at least the word positive, we probably should skew a little bit towards the positive. If we're frustrated, it's only because we know they're capable of better, and we want them to reach that potential.
I'm not mad.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not mad. I'm disappointed. But that pretty well encapsulates the first 10 games of the season here. Luka, sensational. Josh Green looks like the hype in the offseason, the preseason, all that is real, very real. JaVale McGee is very much not real. And we're trying to figure out where where to go from here. Christian
He's
Wood.
not. He's not real at all.
No,
I
no.
hope he wasn't. That would be more advantageous for the Mavericks if he wasn't real.
Man,
If they figure out the Christian Wood thing, if they just stop messing around with that and they give Green consistent minutes like he's got in the last 6 games, I'll feel better. Honestly,
great.
just
I
do
feel
those
good.
2 things, and I feel so much better because I'm
Yes.
convinced you don't lose 3 of those 4 losses.
Yeah.
So, anything else you guys want to add before we wrap this up?
Not too much, but hey, I appreciate you being on here. Any good to see you again. Good to talk to you again, big dog. Love talking that good basketball with you. You know, hopefully we can do some more of this. That's all I got to really say about that.
Man, I appreciate that. It's always fun talking basketball. Listen to y'all's football. I still need to get y'all's takes on. Well, I think you probably did a video about the Cowboys and their feelings on the Odell Beckham Jr. situation and stuff like that. It'll be nice to have another dynamic guy on the team. However, I am kind of hesitant. You have 2 guys coming off of a major ACL injury. That will be your top 3 wide receivers. But anyway, I would like to hear y'all's takes on that. So I'll probably tune in here next time y'all do a video.
You can do it right quick.
Yeah,
I'll give you my quick take. I'll give you a quick take on Odell Beckham Jr. Now, what you said about the ACL, I feel you. But here's my thing. Dallas is 1 injury away from it being bad, especially like we had being DDP had talked about with CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb has already been nursing little nagging injuries all year. If he were to go down and you didn't sign an Odell Beckham Jr., yes, we love our tight ends, the young tight ends, but now you're going with what? Noah Brown, James Washington, Jalen Tolbert, who's been a bust right now. So you don't feel good about that at all. That offense totally changes up. And the only thing is going to be the sticking point is that contract because he's going to want to be secure. He doesn't want to go somewhere and just be on
a 3-year deal.
Yeah, and that's where I worry about with Dallas because I know they don't like them older players now. Odell Beckham is not 22. You feel me? He's older now. Dallas likes keeping cheaper, younger players. That is, to me, going to be a sticking point right there. But if they were actually to do it, that changes the whole offense. To me, it'll probably be like the way if they sign him the way they signed Amari Cooper in the midseason when Dallas was in the dumps, it was looking bad for him. They signed Amari Cooper, Dak, and Cooper hit off just like that, and it went from there. I believe if Odell Beckham Jr. signs, him and Dak are going to hit the ground running. He's going to turn all the way up, and this offense will get fire instantly. I think that's the type of impact he will have on this offense because he makes everybody else better. He's the threat. He's got great hands. He can take you vertically. I know he's got the ACL, but he's a different type of athlete. I've seen athletes, and you've seen them, that some people can get hurt, and they just going to stay hurt. He's different. He's the type that can get hurt, rehab, come back stronger. He's that type of athlete. He's different. So me having him out there just changes everything, makes everything better for the offense and makes it easier. Just like we were talking all like with the Mavericks. When Luka can get guys that can make it easier for him, the team is better. You can get an Odell Beckham Jr. on your team, it makes it easier for everybody else.
I agree. And even if he is wanting like a 3-year deal, if you were looking at like, let's say 3 at 11 million a year, which again, because of the age and because of he had a bad ankle break or something early in his career too. So it's not another ACL. That's good at least, but he has had a couple of severe injuries. I would say if you're talking like 3 at 11 mil per year, that's basically what you're paying Dalton Schultz right now. And Schultz, talk about nagging injuries and not having a good year. He's already franchised. You're not going to bring Schultz back. We do like our young tight ends. So if you're going to say that, like, hey, basically you can pick up Odell, not have to go invest in a receiver, a high-end receiver in the draft if you don't want to now, and you've got tight ends to fill Schultz's spot, then you're already covering all your bases. It makes sense for me to get an experienced receiver in here because I know we've invested in a lot of young receivers. We got a lot of young receivers that we're excited about, they say. So cool. But I still want one of those guys at the top. You might not have Amari anymore, but you can still have a guy that can be a playmaker and be a dynamic option. Doesn't have to be your number one receiver by any means, but it'll make the rest of the offense better and have a big impact. So I think if they do get him, it's probably a stretch run sort of thing. Like, I don't think he really gets a lot of play before we at least get into December. But even still, I think there's going to be a good opportunity for him to have an impact this season. And whether it's Micah or Zeke, I can't recall the players ever being this vocal and active in their recruiting of a free agent. Like every one of the franchises.
I feel like they have to because the powers that be have been sitting on their hands for so long in terms of adding. It's almost like they're allergic to adding talent if it's not through the drafts. And I get, the fiscally responsible way of getting talent and have them overvalue or play better than what their contract is because they're on the rookie contract and everything like that. But there needs to be a balance. I remember the early days of, Romo. It used to be like, get all the free agents in here, whatever. And then who gives a damn about the draft? First round pick, Bobby Carpenter. Who cares? Like whatever. But now it's just like, who cares about the free agents? We'll just wait till all of them sign. We'll go bargain bin shopping.
Yeah.
And we'll just get draft picks, have them play, cut them or whatever, leave them to sign for other teams, and just keep recycling. When it's like, what about the mix of the two? And so that's one of the things that I'm really excited about in terms of they're actually it sounds to me that they're actually really considering getting a playmaker like Odell Beckham, because I mean it can help on so many fronts, just like James talked. It can help Dak, it can help Lamb, it can help everybody, right? But here's what it can also do. It can also help with constructing the team, because like Derek said, or DDP, you don't have to invest your draft picks on high-end receivers. Now you can start reinvesting in the offensive line and stop, having to, pray that for some miracle that Tyron Smith doesn't get hurt again for the third year in a row, or that, some of these interior linemen that are underachieving somehow just figure out how to play football better. Is maybe we can, reinvest.
Get another running back so you have Zeke insurance.
Yes. Yeah, get another running back so we can, actually have someone to pair with
Pollard,
with Pollard, and maybe Zeke can, go on to wherever he needs.
They love some Zeke, dog. They love some Zeke, and as long as Jerry loves Zeke, I'm gonna be honest with you. The way they did DeMarcus Lawrence's contract, where he basically said, "I'll give away my signing bonus, or I'll restructure this just to get a flat out 3-year deal to stay here." I have a feeling that they might try to do that. They'll try to just negotiate a type of contract where they can keep him like another 2-3 years, because they're going to say Zeke is only 26, 27. Why not? And let's try to sign Pollard to a small deal.
Listen to Jerry talk about Zeke right now.
He's in love with him.
Like he will not hear compliments of Tony Pollard without giving the credit to Zeke somehow.
Like Tony's good, but it's Zeke.
I mean, look, Zeke is a good.
Changed my mind.
I'm sure Zeke is a great leader. I'm sure he's a good presence in the locker room. It's just what he's producing on the field is it's lackluster. It's definitely not rookie Zeke. If we can somehow if we could just make him a goal line type dude, maybe. But what we saw from Pollard 2 weeks ago, clearly,
I mean that's the thing. Is like what Zeke can bring to the table, I'm fine with, and I'm fine with the combination of him and Pollard as long as it's close to a 50-50 split. My problem is the money tied to Zeke. It doesn't match what you're paying. Like what you're getting and what you're paying do not line up, and that's why like way back then I was firmly against the extension for Zeke. Like I raved about that for a full, I don't know how many different shows back in the day I was on with James, where it was round tables and I was pounding the table like I don't think this makes sense. You invested all this money here, you did all this, like, and now it's dropped off. I didn't even expect the drop off in those explosive plays like you mentioned his rookie year. So like again, he has value and I like what he brings to the table as long as it's adequately split with Pollard. The problem for me is the money is so disproportionate to what you're getting. And that I feel like a lot of times it's just
you're getting more production from your cheaper option.
I would rather give Pollard a new deal, but I agree with James. I think they're going to keep Zeke around for as long as they can, really, because he's still a huge face of the franchise. Not the face per se at this point, but from a marketing standpoint, he's huge, and we know Jerry likes that angle.
Well, there's your football.
Yeah, we got more football talk there. Like, all right, real quick. All right, 15 minutes.
It is.
But So that'll wrap it up for this show here. Thank you again to Enyi for jumping on. We will be back next Wednesday, another live show here, talking Mavs, maybe a little bit of Cowboys. We'll see what's going on with that. But we'll see if the Mavs can keep building on this, how they bounce back from this disappointing loss earlier today. Man, we really got to figure out some kind of like off step or tagline or something for this show, because every time it's me, I just find myself just like, what do I say now? Like, I got momentum. We're going, and I don't know where to go.
Hey, just make sure you just tune in next Wednesday for Positively Relentless going
Yeah.
down. We got good matchups going to come up. Washington, that's the KP game. We're going to be watching that. You know, people going to be talking about it, whether you believe it or not. People going to be talking about it. And that next game, what I'm looking at, you guys, we playing Portland, and that's a game I'm really going to watch because they hella athletic, and they got a kid over there. I really, really like that. Shadoan Sharp.
Shaden Sharp, yeah.
He gonna be nasty, dog. He gonna be nasty. So I'm excited to see what the upcoming games are.
Harold, does Houston even have a football team? Like, come on, guy.
I ain't paying no. Because he always
he's hilarious. I'm sorry. He's hilarious.
He's hilarious. I ain't paying the East Side. Here he be just chirping the whole time because I can't never find you when you get smacked. I can't never find you. I only find you in W's. I never find you in losses. So therefore, I don't listen to you. Sorry, East Side. No, I forgot. I don't told you. I wasn't gonna call you that no more. I'm just calling you Harold.
All right, fair enough.
And also too, I guess, guys, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Like, share, whatever, do everything.
Check out the podcast.
Also, check out some other awesome creators too. I've been working with some of them on a very limited basis, but it's still pretty cool. We got shout out to TGK. He was in the comments. Shout out to Glow Mavs. Follow these guys. They're working really hard. They're giving you real raw opinions of what the Mavs are really going through. I know King from Glow Mavs has been. He figured out that I was doing a show with you, and he's like, "Bro, please try to get DDP out to a show. We really want to have a mini roundtable like we did like a month ago or so. He had a lot of fun. Wants to do it again. But there's a lot of great creators out there, guys. We don't have to listen to the big brands, guys who were very I'm going to say my opinions, but again,
whack.
Whack, we're milk toast,
quick, whack. I'll say it for you, whack.
Yeah, so definitely, guys, we got some real raw content out there. Just follow them, share them, and let's get these guys lifted out in the algorithms. So that's all I have to say.
Appreciate it. Till next time, guys. Peace.